Well, you wouldn't believe it. It's actually the 3rd of April. Looks like a joke, but there's got to be 2.5 feet of snow here. And underneath this pile of snow here, in the cocoon of snow, is my 1974 Toyota. And then over here, I stopped using this truck midwinter, so it's buried in snow. We got a lot of snow from about the middle of February right on till now. Snowed last night. Snowed 3 times in the last 5-6 days. So here we got the star of the video here, 1948 GMC. It's being appraised today because to get it plated, just to get a parking plate for it, it's not going to pass the safety yet. No brakes on it or anything. So I got to have an appraisal so I can be taxed, pay the tax on whatever amount will it be, and then so I got the VIN number right there. I got the paperwork in my pocket. Appraisal guy's coming. He's supposed to be here in less than an hour, so that was 20 minutes ago. And then I just had a couple of minutes to take a short video. I pulled the rear shoes off this side, the driver's side, on the back about a week ago, and the back and front brakes are totally different. Back brakes are very similar to like 70s, 80s back brakes. Not quite the same, but very similar. And the front brakes are totally different. I didn't know they would be like that, but it makes sense because I think like 65, 80% of your braking is your front brakes. So, and there's no proportioning valve on this. And it has a single master. This has got all the original stuff. I believe the brake lines, maybe even the shoes, probably not the shoes, but the master cylinder, I think it's all original, 1948. So even though the cab has been changed on this truck, the master is mounted underneath the floor right in that hole there. It's right below the floor on the frame. So it would have stayed on. It's never been taken off the truck. And then the doors are off, early model 48. Striker plates have been modified. These tabs are off, like a 51 or a 52. And this piece here in the center is early, 47, 48. And then they would have been flush here. This wouldn't have had a big cavity or a big indentation. So for these doors to fit on this late model, this is a later model cab, we had to modify. And if I'd have known that, I would have probably... Anyway, that's a pain now, because if you do change these, you got to modify them. That means if you do it, there's an aftermarket handle you can buy, which is really nice. And they work really great. They work like a modern door handle. And I don't know, I don't think it would fit on this truck unless you did some heavy modifications. But anyway, that's not... I don't want to get into too much detail on that. The surrounding board's not original. The original one was so rusted it had to be changed. And these box sides, this piece here is not original. But I think the fenders are original. The 2 fenders and the tailgate are... that GMC tailgate is probably 1948 original. And then the front clip is original. And then everything underneath on the frame, maybe even including the rims and the hubcaps, are original. I think the rad's got a leak. We'll open the hood. We'll have a look. I got a couple of minutes before he gets here. I think this has got, of all the advanced design trucks, Chevy were called advanced design. GMC, I think, they had a slightly different name. Almost the same, but one different word, but anyway. The rad. See, it's a little wet on this side over here. So I think it leaks. I'm going to give it a pressure test. And fill it with some soap and water. Shake it around a bit and then look for bubbles coming out. Put maybe 2 psi in it. That grill, I was talking about the grill. I think of all the advanced design trucks, it's the ugliest grill. So I may switch that grill to a 49. 49 had a much nicer. It's inset. Doesn't have this thing sticking out around the front. It's all flush. But I joined right away. I'm on 3 forums for these 47 to 55, 54, these trucks. And one guy said to change that grill to a different year, hey, there's some big modifications you got to do. So I think I will do it though. And you got these bars underneath here. This thing is really mounted solid. See those steel bars? They go down to the frame. I think there's hollow pipe, but they're pretty heavy duty. And this thing here is built like a tank. That is just built as solid as a bumper. It's I don't know if it's 1/4 inch, but it's an 1/8 anyway. I'm gonna have to end up taking the whole manifold exhaust system right off. Exhaust and intake, I mean, because there's 2 broken bolts. I won't pass a safety like that. So the only way to get at that back one, I've got 2 choices. Either take the cab, I got 3 choices. Take the cab off, take the engine out, or take both exhaust and intake manifold off, which I think is the best of the 3 options. It means the risk of 6 bolts I got to get out of there without breaking. I believe all those bolts have been in there since 1958. I think that motor is 1958. It's not as old as the truck. It's a 235, which is kind of making me lean towards keeping that motor in there, because it's the motor you want in one of these trucks if you're going to keep like an original style motor. It looks the same as a 216 from the outside. Yeah, it's very hard to tell the difference. You gotta run the serial numbers to find out what it is. And then I gotta do brakes. It's obvious. All these trucks need brake work. And then I gotta put a bed in, and I'm gonna put probably pressure treated lumber, stain it, and put a coat or 2 of polyurethane maybe. Just make it look nice. It's going to spend a lot of time outside, I think. In the summer especially. In the winter, I hope to have it stored indoors somewhere. Either in my shop, or I'm going to buy one of those sea containers, shipping containers, and I think it'll fit nicely in one of those. Yeah, and then I had a lot of people. That forum I'm on, and I announced that I bought this truck, they said, upgrade your front brakes, which I want to do, but it won't get done until after it's licensed for the road. I want it just to pass safety right now. So I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm probably going to convert it to 12 volts. I got to just pull that generator off there and put a like a 70s 80s alternator, GM AC Delco alternator, and then I think the starter will run. The 6-volt starter will work on 12 volts. I mean, it may burn up, but if it does, I'll get it rebuilt. The horns work, so you got to get resistors for the fuel gauge, and there's something else. Oh yeah, the heater motor's got to be changed, which is not a big deal. I think that'll be fairly easy. It's got the delete plate here, and then it's got the delete plate inside on the floor, so there's no fresh air being pulled in with the heater. It would come in through this vent right here. But it's got the heater. That must be an aftermarket heater. I don't know. Maybe GM offered that as an option. And then there's the delete plate. So the heater that would have pulled air in from here fits, has a shroud that kind of goes over here and bolts on to those 6 screws that are there. And you can ask it to draw fresh air in, which is much better than recirculating the air that's in here. It's got Chevrolet written up there. So this was obviously a Chevy cab, or I think that's stainless steel. That might have come out of a Chevy, but I don't know. It's got the Chevy steering wheel. I think it's a Chevy cab. The cab's been changed. It was really rotten, the original cab. And then the 5 windows, these were welded in from the original cab. So he cut he cut out these and he welded them in. You can't tell it's been done. I mean, it was so well done. And then the inside, what he did was he managed to salvage these corner pieces. He had to. He cut it here. He cut right here. He salvaged the centerpiece in the Chevy cab, this cab, which didn't have corner windows. And then he joined them up. He removed the pieces that he had cut. So he cut on one side to keep this piece. He cut on this side to keep this corner piece. Then he joined them all together and put it in there because there was a lot of rot in both, but he managed to salvage. I think he replaced the strip along the top here, above the window. They tend to rust out above and below windows, and then up in here too, they rust. But this one's in. There's no rust on this cab anywhere now. It's in really good shape. Inner and outer cowl and the inner outer. There's 3 pieces that were changed on both sides. What else was done? Oh yeah, the doors are not original doors, but they're original 1947-48 doors. The later models, I don't know if it was 49 they switched, they put a vent window here. So, which I don't like those vent windows. See, they got rid of this on the later models, and they had the vent window. So you could pivot this outwards and draw fresh air in. I'm missing the badge on this side. That's the only badge on the truck that's missing. I mean, there's 3 and there's 1 missing, so. It's got the vacuum motor. I looked at the options of if I do convert this 12 volt, which is probably what I'm going to do, I have the option of putting a 12 volt wiper motor in there. That's the switch for it. And underneath, inside the cab here, underneath the dash, is the vacuum motor. I could get the vacuum motor working too, so it's one or the other I'm going to try to do. Can you see it in there? I have to turn the light on. It's definitely in there, but it's, yeah, there it is. Center of the screen right there. I think it's aluminum or white. I think it's pot metal. So I should hook up a hose to see if it works, first of all. And then the valve, turn it on and off, is right up there. Right straight above. Need flashlight. I think I'm going to put a double master, brake master on it. You know, because the one that's on it's completely seized. The pedal is rock hard, won't move. And then I definitely need new, what do you think? I think I need new Mercy brake cables. So they're not that expensive. These are about 20, no, I think they're more than that. They're $30 or $40 each. So I'll order 2 of those. I'll order all the wheel cylinders. I think I'm going to reuse the shoes for now because I'm probably going to convert the front brakes to disc brakes is probably an option in the future. And then I have all the drums. I have everything. I have these things here, but the glass is missing. And they're rusted out on the back. So the bolt, this bolt you see here, it's supposed to be attached there. I'll re-weld that on there. Got some work to do to these. I'm going to probably convert these to a, what is it, 5611, I think? I can't remember that bulb number. This has got the one... I think originally in 1948 you had running lights, and when you turn the headlights off, these went on. These go off for some crazy reason. And there's no signal lights on this truck. So if I want to have running lights and signal lights, I have to have a bulb with 2 terminals on it. So we'll look at doing that. Maybe we can't do that. I don't know. They're both here. You can't buy these parts. I can buy the glass, but I can't buy this stuff. So he included that in the sale, and then he gave me an extra handle for the driver's side door over there, which is completely stripped out. This thing's stripped. So, and then the mirror I think the hold mirror is here. And the glass is missing. Yeah, the appraiser guy's here.